Hi, Jeanne. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. And you?
Yeah, I'm great. So I've given you a little bit of an introduction. Do you want to just introduce yourself a bit more?
Okay. Well, I'm Jeanne Schumacher. I call myself the Starch Queen of Diamonds, or actually my partner calls me that, and I call her the Starch Queen of Hearts. We're called the Starch Queens because we're all about eating plant-based and getting those carbs in, those starches, and using that as a base for your life. So I'm the Starch Queen of Diamonds because I like the facts. Give me the facts,
Yeah.
okay? And I will educate you. I'm an educator. I teach chemistry, environmental science, biology, and now I'm switching over to teaching plant-based education. So,
Oh, wow. The Starch Queen of Diamonds. I actually really love that. And the Starch Queen of Hearts. That is so awesome. So, how did you stumble across this way of eating? Like, tell us your story.
oh wow. Well, I think my whole life I've always been overweight, and with my family, my whole family, both sides of my family have been obese and still are. And the last wedding I went to, it was like, oh my gosh, everybody's huge. Everybody's gotten bigger. I mean, even bigger.
Mm.
So, we've always struggled in my family with weight. So that's part one.
Mm.
But what started me was a trip to the emergency room. And I think we all have to have that aha moment where,
Unfortunately.
yes, we all have to have that aha moment. And I did. I had that aha moment. And it was a trip to the emergency room. I had 105-degree fever. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but high, very high,
Hi. Yeah, hi.
very high. And my blood pressure was off the charts. I should have had a stroke at some point, but my body didn't. And the woman who took care of me, who was the medical doctor and was not only a doctor, but a nutritionist. So
Mm.
she kept coming in every time she would see me. She kept asking about the food. What am I eating? And what am I consuming?
Yeah.
And it's really started me on this journey. And when I got out of the hospital, I went to see her as a nutritionist. And from that point, she started me on Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn.
I interviewed him
And
last week for the show.
he's amazing. He's amazing.
He's so amazing.
He is. He's incredible. So I started with that book, and I haven't looked back. And then Forks Over Knives came out. So this was a while ago. And
Yeah. How many years
yeah,
ago was that?
it's about 2009.
Wow.
So,
Great.
so I never did find out what made me so sick. Don't really care because it changed my life for the better. And yeah, so that's kind of my story. So, but also too, my for me, it's changed a lot of my life,
Mm.
and changed my health, changed my husband's health. He
Wow.
had I say had MS. So didn't didn't you? I think in your story you shared that you had that.
Yes. So tell me more about your husband's story, if that's okay, if he's okay for you to
Yeah,
share that. I'd love to
yeah,
hear.
yeah. Yeah, he was diagnosed with MS, and after we went plant-based, no symptoms. It's gone. We haven't had any, scans, to see if it's completely gone because we have no symptoms. Gone is gone in my book, and I really don't want to subject him to any more, the radiation and stuff like that to get like an MRI or whatever. Another thing that we did also was when we first got married, because this is round two for both of us.
Yeah.
And when we first got married, which was, just about when 2009 is when we got married, we somehow got onto the topic of mercury because I had been reading about the MS and mercury. And, one of the things for people my age, I'm 57, so people my age were getting these mercury amalgams in their mouth.
Yes.
So, I mean, the dental industry is quietly tiptoed away from using these. But my husband didn't get them, he never got them replaced. I was very fortunate that I had a chemistry teacher that was very insightful and knew right away about the issues with mercury and especially to the human body, and suggested if you have any of these, as soon as you can, get them out. So as soon as I graduated from college and had money, because I was one of those poor college students, I put myself through school, and I had them taken out right away. And so I was in my early 20s, when I had mine removed and replaced with porcelain. So my husband and I were immediately, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm the dentist. Hello, hi, we need to get these out now. And so we took a progression of 3 months because he wasn't going to do them all at one shot. So, because he had like 9 of them. So I think that was another issue, with the MS as well. That's just me from the research and reading that I've been doing, especially the toxins. I teach a lot about toxins. I teach a lot about metals. I teach about the issues with the metals in our bodies. So I think helping him to get rid of that. And we did a lot of chelation afterwards to help him get rid of, the mercury.
Sorry, what was that?
So we did a process called chelation.
I've never heard of that.
Chelation is a way to, because once you have the metals in your body, literally you want to attach the particles. You need something to attach it to escort it out the body. And that's what the process of chelation is. So,
okay. I've never heard of that before. It's really interesting. So how do you do that?
Well, there's a couple of ways, but one of them in particular that's really, fits in totally with plant-based living is cilantro and several different herbs like that, the cilantro just attaches itself to the mercury, and just helps to escort it right out. So there's several different ways that you can do it.
So would you have that juiced or whole or in a salad?
Well,
how much?
We eat a lot of cilantro. We do. I'm not a big fan of juicing. I mean, unless you're sick.
No, I don't either. I just was wondering about the chelation, like how the process works. I don't juice.
Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan of it because I think we need to digest, the digestion. Yeah, the digestion process starts here. The chemistry starts here in our mouth. I can't help it. I'm a chemistry teacher. I can't.
Go ahead. I'm enjoying it.
So it's, our digestion process starts here. And if you bypass this, you're bypassing a huge amount. I mean, and it's not to say that juicing doesn't have a place, especially like, if you're really, really sick and you can't eat and you need to get the nutrients into your body, that's a great way to alimentation is great. So it's always a good one. But, so what about you? Within your journey?
Okay, so I haven't actually told my journey. I think I've told bits of my journey on this podcast, but not too much. So I was diagnosed in 2004, but I'd been very unwell for probably 6 years before, probably 8 years before then. So from 16, I got glandular fever, and I just was a tired, sick, overweight. I was obese. I was always in chronic pain. I had fibromyalgia. So I was, I was a wreck. So I was 24 and a wreck. And then I woke up and I was just numb down the right-hand side of my face. And I think I always say left hand, but it was actually my right hand. I just get my left and right confused. But it was my right hand. And then I went to work, and because I was working as a care support worker for people with disabilities. And I was making a bed of one of my clients, and I put my hands under the bed, and when I pulled them out from under the blankets, it was really bizarre. My fingers just like water was running down my arm, but my hand went numb from my fingertips all the way up to my elbow. It was very weird because it was just in the space of, I woke up with their face, and then, about 3 or 4 hours later, my hand just, it was very strange, was numb. And so then, there was lots and lots of back and forth with different doctors, and I had to get a second opinion because the first doctor said, I don't think anything is wrong with you. And I was like, I think something is wrong with me. But, I kind of did think, everyone was saying, you're 24, it might just be a pinched nerve in your neck. And I thought, well, I don't know, maybe. So it was a long back and forth, and then they thought I had a stroke because the CAT scan looked like a stroke because it wasn't detailed enough to see the rest of the lesions. It only caught the big one that was causing the
side,
the numbness. Once I had the MRI, so it was probably about a month really of period of time. That's when they found all of the multiple lesions, the multiple scarring that is multiple sclerosis. So from then I got in the mail information about the swank diet in the post. Along with the other drugs, interferon-based drugs that were...
Well, at least you got that.
I know, and that's like a miracle. I think they even send that out now. They wouldn't send that in the mail now.
No, because if you go onto the MS Society website, they teach you about how to live with MS.
I know.
We didn't want to live with MS.
No, me neither.
Right.
So I read that and I thought this is because I kept thinking, like, why would my body, a young woman's body, suddenly do this? Like, it makes sense that I'm doing something,
right,
eating something, or same like what you're saying, the toxins in I changed all of my personal care products, I changed all of those things as well, and I thankfully didn't have any mercury fillings, but that made sense to me that it was something I was doing. A perfectly healthy baby doesn't just start out of nowhere attacking its own brain, So, but my neurologist kept saying, there's no science in diet, eat whatever you want. Just hate the drugs, eat whatever you want. So I did the diet very poorly for the first 4 years because everyone would go, he'd say, don't be ridiculous. There's no science, eat whatever you want. And so I would be like, I do love cake, so I'll go and eat cake then. And I would get sicker, surprise, surprise. Every time I was on the diet, I would get better, surprise, surprise. So in 2008, I woke up numb from the waist down. I was smoking back then as well. So I had a very stressful exam. And so I know that the stress was what triggered that attack specifically because I was very stressed the day before. And when I went to bed, I had numb legs and I thought maybe I'd just been sitting for a very long time. So I didn't think much of it, but I woke up and they were much more numb, and I couldn't feel anything. So that day I went to the doctor and I had to have intravenous steroids. And he said, it's been 4 years, you've been mucking about, you're supposed to be on these medication. If you don't go on the medication today, you're going to get sicker and sicker until you die.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah. Actually, it was a fill-in neurologist, my neurologist, but he would have given me the exact same message. He'd been giving me the exact same message for years. But the drugs just didn't make sense to me when I read the studies, and I was doing social work then, so I was doing all research subjects. So I knew how to research. I knew how to go find the actual published papers on these medications. I knew how to do all that. So I had, and it just didn't make sense compared to what Swank was saying about his study. It made so much more sense. So long story short, I heard him say that, and it really struck me, and I don't know why. I just thought, you arrogant man, how dare you tell me what my future holds, like you're Nostradamus, like you hold my whole life in your hands. You have so much power over vulnerable, scared, terrified people, and the message is, don't think about food, just take this. That's ridiculous and negligent in my personal opinion. Like, definitely if you want to do both, go for it. If you want to do both, it's not my journey to tell you it's not my place to tell you how to live your life. But I didn't personally want to do both, and I just really believed in my heart that food was the thing. Obviously mindfulness and exercise, those things, but that food was a massive, massive piece. And so I went whole food, plant-based, vegan. Well, I went on the Swank, so I ate seafood back then.
Right.
And egg whites. So I did that from then, and then in early 2012, when I had my son was a baby, I transitioned to a vegan.
Now, when you had your son, Because they say people with MS, especially women, will have attacks afterwards. Did you have an attack afterwards?
No, I didn't have any attacks afterwards. I have had no attacks since 2008 when I left that emergency room and that doctor said that, I said, okay, I'll show you, pal.
And you did. And have you gone back since?
No, and other doctors have said, go back and get it. I don't want another MRI. To me, that's just...
No, but I agree. But you need to go back and just say, hey, look at this.
I know, pal. I will. I think I will now because I don't want to have to pay for the thing, but I just want to say, you told me...
Catch him in the parking lot.
10 years ago, you told me that I would be sicker than I was and dead. And now I'm great. Feel the best I ever have. Thank you for nothing.
I know.
So that's my story. But yeah, I stopped eating eggs and seafood once I had my son because that was an ethical decision. But yeah.
Well, even, McDougall goes in and talks more about, the MS, what he's refined the swank diet even more, to eliminate the animal products. So.
Yeah, well, see, because there's a doctor here called Dr. George Jelinek, who is amazing, but he adapted the swank diet. So that didn't add, I think the swank allows you to have egg eventually. I think he allows you to have chicken eventually. So he cuts out that, but he's just, still having a bit of seafood for omega-3s, but I get my omega-3s fine from flax and hemp and chia seeds and whatever, so walnuts, so I've got no problems.
Excellent. That's great.
My story.
Well, for me, for my story, I once I got out of the hospital, I had been, still obese at that point, and I started losing weight. My issue was high blood pressure and thyroid, fatty liver syndrome. My doctor looked me straight in the eye and said, you are going to be on this thyroid medication for the rest of your life. And, because when I looked at her, she handed me this prescription. I'm like, well, how long do I have to take this? And she's like, yeah, the rest of your life. And I'm like, what? What do you mean forever? She's like, yeah, for sure. You're going to be taking this for the rest of your life because once your thyroid starts, shutting down, you've got to have this synthetic thyroid in your body. So then I started researching it because that's what I do. I research and I learn, I read. And then I started bringing her things and saying, okay, here's your homework. Read this study, read this report. We're going to have call me, And then I wouldn't hear from her. And I'd call the office and say, she hasn't called me. I need to have a conversation with her. Do I need to call her mother? She hasn't done her homework.
How'd that go?
No, and she would. We would have a conversation about it, and she's like, this is interesting. So it really changed her, and it took me a while to break her in. Because especially to do things like blood work, like I wanted a C-reactive protein test on my body. And I said, yeah, I'd like to have this repeated in like 6 months. And she's like, why? Because I want to see if there's changes. She's like, well, in my 25 plus years of being a doctor, I've never seen a change. Humor me.
Yeah, just humor me.
Humor me. And she's like, well, the insurance might not pay for it. And because it's an expensive test and la, 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 la. And I'm like, whatever. Humor me. 6 months, it did change. And you know what her response was?
What?
It was probably a bad test.
Yeah, of course.
Bad blood work. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, and when my thyroid finally did heal.
So how did you have a further test to show that?
Yeah, the blood work came back, and she's like, your thyroid doesn't seem to be having any issues. I think we need to discontinue this medication. I'm like, what?
Pardon?
What? Excuse me? What was that? No, and she's like, and again, the same thing. I'm seeing a theme here. She said, no, I think it was a bad blood test. That round of blood work was not good. I'm like, really?
Couldn't possibly be a plant-based diet?
do I not get any credit for this at all? So, at this point, I think I'm down. I still have more weight to lose, but I think I'm down, about almost 100 pounds. So
congratulations.
yeah.
That's so good. How do you feel?
Oh, amazing. Especially because my day, I have so much energy. And especially because I've been doing a lot of work with caloric density and teaching people about caloric density. So I started living what I teach.
Yeah.
And so I've upped a lot of my greens and eating a lot more greens. And it's amazing, the leafy greens and the power of them. It's incredible. And the energy that I have. I mean, I teach full time.
Mm-hmm.
And so my day starts about 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I go all day teaching a full class load. And then after school, I have after school activities at school. Mm-hmm. And so I usually get home 5:36. And then I'm usually doing something in the evening. If I'm not interviewing other people, I'm being interviewed, or we're doing, I do webinars, I do teaching, I do classes, I lecture around the area on a variety of topics, related to changing your health destiny.
Yeah.
So, my day usually ends between 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then I get up and start it again. And usually I don't get sick, and if I do, it's rare. Like right now we've got a plague going through the school. I mean, everybody's sick. And I just have a little bit of, I don't know, something in my sinuses, whatever. But everybody else is like coughing, hacking, sneezing. I mean, they're walking around looking like death warmed over. Mm-hmm. Not me. I'm just ready to go. Bouncing around. So, and the energy that I have is phenomenal. It really is. So, and what I love about this is because this has had a huge impact on my life. I mean, in terms of, obviously changing it for my health, that's a given. But like my friends, my circle of friends have changed. Yes. And it's been huge because before my friends, that I've known from different parts of my life, it's not that I don't hang out with them, but my God, they're so sick. It's like, I don't want to hear it, and it's not to say that I'm some super fit person. No, but I like to bike. I like to kayak. I like to hike. And most of my friends from before, they can't keep up with me. I mean, not to say that I'm out, I'm going to go climb Mount Everest or something, but my friends can't keep up with me. So it's like, okay, I need new friends. Kayak with me and bike and hike and stuff like that. And, when we go up to, we have a place up here called Cape Cod, and I just love it because it's near the beaches, but it's got so many different ecosystems, from a meadow and beaches and different types of beaches, from kettle ponds, which are glacial form, to, Atlantic Ocean, huge waves, cold water, to baysides, which is protected, just beautiful. So it's stunningly beautiful. Gorgeous. It is. It's a magical place. It really is. So I like to spend a lot of time up there, but, and there's biking all over the place. There's bike paths and whatnot. So, but my friends can't, not to say that I'm going out biking 100 miles in a day, but they can't even keep up 5-10 miles. I mean, and it's like, really? You can't bike? Oh no, I haven't ridden a bicycle in 20 years. I'm like, really? Okay.
Wow.
But so my circle of friends have changed. There are people now who can, keep up with me and do things, because I'm very active and I like to be active. So, it's not to say that I won't pick up a phone and call my friends that are not, but I get tired of hearing about, oh yeah, I'm just diagnosed with, with seizures, and yeah, I just had a stroke, and yeah, I got cancer. And it's like, not me. Well, I'm going out kayaking. I'll talk to you later. They're on what I call the medical treadmill. So that's changed my life huge, because my circle of friends has just completely changed, and it's changed my life because, now I start, I've started a weight loss program for other people to learn how and educate, because I'm a big educator. And I've written a curriculum that will blow you away, because we talk about all the different facets. It's not just the food, because that's part of it, but it's what I call the trifecta approach. You have to change the food, you have to change the drink, you have to change the environmental toxins, what goes in and on your body, you've got to change those, but also you have to exercise. So we help people to learn about that. Even if you're just, moving, walking, just, that's a great exercise. It's not to say I'm going out and bench pressing, 500 pounds in a day. No, that's not what this is about. But I've started doing these programs. It's called, we call it the Starch Queen. So it's starchqueensweightloss.com. And it's amazing. It really is. We have a great group of people. Most of them are women that need to lose weight, but losing weight is a side effect of this. A great side effect. It's awesome.
It is a great side effect.
Because I don't count calories. I don't count carbs. No portion control. I mean, when I eat, I eat. Yeah. And I love to eat. Oh, because I should be the first one to go, hi, I'm Jeanne Schumacher. I'm a food addict, and I am. I mean, it's true. It's true. And even still today, I mean, I'm still learning about how to wrap my head around the addiction, because it is. And I think of, oh gosh, what's his name? Andrew Spudfit Taylor.
I was just going to say, I knew you were going to talk about him. Yes.
Yeah. Well, he realized it. He realized he had, and I did an interview with him too.
Yeah. Wow.
He realized he had an addiction, and and that's the same. And it lights up your brain. Yeah. It lights up your brain, this addiction, whether you're doing the fat, the sugar, the salt, especially, for me, salt was a huge one, and it still is. I'm super uber salt sensitive. And it's a journey. I mean, and everybody's got a little bit of different biochemistry in terms of how they process and deal with things. So, like my partner in crime, Nancy, who's the Queen of Hearts, she can't handle caffeine at all.
I can't handle caffeine at all.
Yeah.
Even chocolate, like dark chocolate, that stimulant in this similar stimulant, and it just makes me jittery and I love chocolate, but it hates me.
Yeah, well, it doesn't love you back. So
no.
Yeah. Well, salt is for me. I mean, potato chips. I mean, and even today, like if you put potato chips in front of me, I'm down. Don't get between me and the bowl. You'll get hurt. Just going to say it,
Yeah.
But I just make sure I try not to put myself in that path.
Situation. Yeah, exactly.
So I carry my food with me at all times.
Yeah.
And I always pack more than I can eat, because there may be a time where I have to stay at campus for whatever reason, or I tutor as well. I don't want that to happen where I end up needing to eat and not having food available, because I can't eat, regular food anymore.
No.
Because it'd make me sick. My blood pressure will go off the charts within a small amount of salt. It's crazy.
Wow.
So I use absolutely no salt at all. Wow.
So even if you just have one, like let's just say you had like one salty meal, that would change.
Let me just tell you, when we were building this house, and we gutted the house completely, and so the kitchen was gutted. There was nothing. I mean, we took everything out.
Yeah.
We completely redid it. So we were eating out a lot. We went to this restaurant local here, and I went in and got soup and a salad, black bean soup, and I grilled the guy, and I forgot to ask about salt. Is there any oil? Is there any animal products? Is there blah, 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 blah? Nothing. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So I got a cup, 8 ounces, a cup. In that one cup, I didn't even get out to the parking lot. And I'm one of the rare people who has actual blood pressure headaches.
Wow.
And I didn't even get out to the car. I had one of the worst headaches that I had in years. I thought my head was going to split open. And I got on my cell phone right away, and it's like, how much salt is in the black bean soup? 56% of your daily nutritional requirement was in that cup of soup. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And it didn't taste salty to me, but I have since learned that soups in restaurants are one of the worst things that you could possibly eat, period, because they put in a phenomenal amount of salt. And this was no exception. So I just couldn't believe. I mean, that was more salt I had in that one cup than I had probably had it in the last month.
Wow.
And it was in one shot.
People don't think about that even a small amount of salt can do such a huge amount of damage to your health.
It does. Well, for me, my body is so salt sensitive. I mean, for you, caffeine. For me, caffeine, bring on the chocolate, baby. Bring it on.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's so funny. And I think that a lot of people, we do think that everyone can just eat everything. But there's nuances and differences in everyone's body. And it like for me, caffeine is such a big deal. Like I get jittery. I get this feeling like I've got really bad anxiety, like I'm having a panic attack. Yeah. My breathing feels labored and harder to catch a breath. It's just awful. But for somebody else like yourself, you know, you can slam coffee and caffeine and chocolate. Sure, go right ahead. Yeah, but for me, I mean, salt doesn't make me get those headaches. But it's just about playing around. Yeah. And I remember when my doctor first said to me, I think I've mentioned this before in this podcast, but he said to me years ago, when I went to this new doctor and I said, you know, I want to go back to the beginning, like, why am I getting MS? And he was very good at looking at your gut health, doing your metal testing. He was very, very great. But he said, oh, you know, what are you eating? Or what things don't sit well with you, don't agree with you when you eat them? And I'm like, I don't know. Everything's fine. It's fine. I had no, this was in 2006. And I remember thinking like, what? Oh, it's all fine. Like I eat, like I barely go to the toilet. I go to the toilet for number 2s like once every 10 days, but it seems fine. I was horrifically constipated and, I had no clue. And I think a lot of people that just feel like this constant state of, that's
normal.
They can't. It's normal. It's a status quo. They can't even think. Like, is it onion? Is it wheat? Is it this? They have no idea. It's just, you know. I had no idea either until I stripped back my diet, and then now anything that comes in, I'm like, oh, that thing hates me.
Exactly. Once you clean your system out, and you put in something, they call it, and on this side of the pond, they call it McDougall's revenge. So, if you put something in that's not good for you, your body's going to know it instantly.
So I don't eat pasta because my husband loves pasta. I don't eat pasta, even like gluten-free pasta, because it acts like a glue in my gut. Like I just like the food to be whole. He's like, how can you hate pasta? And I said, because when I eat it, it just is this binding, thick, heavy gunk in my guts, and I just don't feel good. I know it tastes good, but just feels horrible once it's in my body. But he's just like, it's delicious. Why would you not want to eat pasta? What were you going to say? Sorry, I know I went on a rant.
I don't know. It went out.
Sorry.
I'll think about it. It'll come soon. But I don't know.
Wow. So before you started eating this way, like before you had your health.
Wait. I gotta remember. I remember. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. I was tutoring one afternoon, and this was one of those, you know, Mayday, can you come help? You know.
Yeah.
So it was an extended stay, and while I was there, they were cooking, and the smells were just making me crazy, and just, you know, stimulating hunger. And when I left there, I was so hungry. And on the way home, I stopped by, there was a bagel place, and I said, I'm just going to get a toasted whole wheat bagel. That's all I was going to get. That's all I went in.
Can't hurt.
With the intention of getting just that. Okay, fine. So the guy comes up and he goes, and I told him I wanted a toasted whole wheat bagel, and he says, we have a new cream cheese. It's got honey and raisins and cinnamon. Do you want that? And I'm like, before I could even think, I'm like, yes, because I love cream cheese.
Yeah.
And so he slathered it on there like it was a half an inch thick on both sides. And I ate it like I was a prisoner of war just being released, you know. And I didn't even get out. I mean, like, it was like 20 minutes from home. halfway home, it felt like a samurai warrior was in my gut going, "Hi-ya! Take that! Yeah!" It was bad.
Stabbing you in
I
the
got
gut.
home and I started mooing. Ooh. My husband's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I ate cream cheese. And I
Oh,
was curled up in a fetal position on the bed, mooing. I mean, just, I was in such pain.
it's because you stole their milk. You became
Good
one of
one.
them.
Good one. No, but have I had cream cheese since? No. No, because I felt the pain. Wow. And it was really bad. And I don't want that again. I mean, it literally took me about 6-7 hours for it to go through. I wish I could have thrown it up, and got it out.
Yeah.
But it went through, and it was going to let me know all the way through that this was not acceptable.
Wasn't a good
So,
idea. Oh.
no.
I know. I remember a friend of mine, when I was telling them how sensitive I am, they're like, "Oh, just go back to eating the way you were, because now you're like a fairy when it comes to food. Any food makes you feel sick. Before, well, you could just eat whatever you wanted. Why would you want to make?"
And look how sick I was.
Yeah. I'm like, well, yeah, exactly. I had multiple sclerosis and couldn't feel my legs, let myself go to the toilet. But
Apart from that, I could eat anything I wanted.
I could eat anything I wanted. Good point. Yes, so I'd rather have it this way, where I'm very sensitive to anything foreign now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, so what I was going to say to you is just describe, because I think people often we go quickly to the positives, but I think there's a lot of people would benefit from hearing like I know that you said you got that bad fever and then you went to hospital and you almost had a stroke. But before that, what was your life like, exercise-wise, digestion-wise, energy-wise, body-wise? How did you...
Well, I was overweight. I mean, not overweight. I was obese. There was
Yeah.
no ifs, ands, or buts. I was, literally more than, 100 pounds than what I am now. So, yeah, so I was overweight extremely. I mean, I had good health in general, but I would always get sick. Several times a year, I would get a really bad cold and keep it for weeks on end. And I don't see that anymore. My health has changed in that sense, because I don't. And if I do get sick, it's for a short time, for a short period. And because my immune system's working, it's great. So,
That's excellent.
but I think I was always a lot more tired in before, and now I have, like, my God, boundless energy, boundless. So
at the end of your working day, like, did you find that now, like after work then and after work now? Because I know for me, like, I was like napping after work. Like, I would just, all I had to energy for before I changed was getting through. If I was studying university, or if I was working, I would budget the energy required for that task, and then I would be wiped out. But as soon as I got home from whatever uni or work, I would be sleeping. Was that similar for you? Where you
absolutely, naps were a part of my life.
Yeah.
They were always part of it, because I needed to recharge my body for whatever. And now it's a rare day ever if I take a nap. Rare.
Yeah, and I thought naps were just life. I thought naps were life in my 20s. Every day was nap day.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I always would be in, naps were part of it. And I just always headaches. Headaches were a huge part of my life. I always had and not migraines, but I always had headaches.
Yes.
Headaches are pretty rare now, unless I have salt,
Yeah.
But
so were your headaches that lasted a long time?
I always had headaches. I used to carry around bottles of like ibuprofen or Motrin. Now it's like I have to like hunt the house to find one, but I would have one in my purse, in my car, in my nightstand. I mean, because I would wake up or have a headache or have one all the time. And I was always constantly popping, ibuprofen all the time. It seemed like I always had a headache. not migraines. And then when I did hit menopause or perimenopause, I started having, this is a great story.
Please, share.
This is a great one. I started having migraines when I was like perimenopausal, just before I hit menopause. So I went to my doctor and she gave me some medication for the migraines to help with the pain. Okay, fine. She says, but I want you to see a neurologist because this is not normal. Usually people start migraines, they're young and you have them your whole life. And it's not until, because I was in my 40s when this started happening. She said, this is not normal. So I went to the neurologist, a specialist now, mind you, in issues with the head. Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
So we did every test known to mankind. Sleep tests, everything.
Yeah.
They all came back nothing. It's like, well, this maybe tumor, and at the time I had young kids, young teenagers, like 12, 14 years old. And it was just me, raising them by myself.
Wow.
And I started really, absolutely, this guy, I really thought I should go pick up my casket because he literally, he's like, this is not good. I've never seen this. This is just so unusual. There's got to be some kind of tumor that's in there that's causing these migraines because I've never seen this. This is just unheard of, blah, blah, blah. And I for about 6-7 months, I was so upset. Seriously. That was all I could worry about is what's going to happen if I die for my kids, what's going to happen. And to the point where I was actually going to a lawyer because, for family dynamics and stuff like that. I'm like, what do I do? How can I prevent, my kids, how can I provide for them, et cetera, if I die? So I go to the gynecologist for my annual check under the hood, with those legs up in the air. Woo, okay. And she says to me, has anything changed? And I said, yeah, I started getting these migraines. She's like, oh yeah, it's normal. I'm like, what? She says, yeah. When perimenopausal women, I see it all the time. It's because your hormones are changing. And she says, once you get through menopause, you'll be fine. I said, you need to go talk to the neurologist. He had me dead.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, no, I see it all the time. And I think this goes back to my belief that we've gotten away from looking at the body as a body.
As a body, as a whole.
We've compartmentalized. I went to see a specialist in brain issues. He couldn't tell me. But it was the gynecologist who said, yeah, your hormones are changing. He never once asked how old I was. Obviously I wrote it down. But are you starting menopause? Are you having issues? Are you having hot flashes? What's going on here? None of those questions. It was like, let's look at the tests. Let's see what we can get. Oh my God, all these tests are all coming back normal. So, I think we've compartmentalized way too much in terms of specializing because once you start to heal the body, all of it starts to heal.
Exactly. So did you notice when you ate this way that the migraines improved, or was that?
No, I don't have migraines anymore.
Yeah. Gone.
Well, I'm also I'm postmenopausal now.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm done with that. So, and my hormones have settled down, but migraines for sure. I didn't have a food trigger. My migraines weren't food. My migraines, I think, were more exhaustion and stress than anything else. And even though, like right now, I'm still under probably the same amount of stress, and my energy levels are phenomenal. And I probably get less sleep now than I did when I had migraines. No, I don't have them anymore. So that's another big one. I don't have migraines. So
yeah, that's great. I just wanted to go back to your husband. So I didn't want to forget. I just want to go back because how long had he had MS before he changed his diet, and what was his disease?
I think he was diagnosed. He had mild symptoms. Tingling, loss of feeling, especially like a girdle effect around his stomach. None of those. He has none of those now.
Yeah, wow.
None. So it was a mild case of MS, But immediately they wanted to put him in. He was diagnosed on a Friday. And
how long before?
It's about 11 years ago, I guess. 11 years.
11 years
So
ago.
when they diagnosed him with it, they gave him a prescription for a medication. And he's kind of cautious. He's not a big pill person. He doesn't like medications. So this was a Friday afternoon, and they gave him the prescription, and he never went to go fill it. And Saturday, he didn't fill it. Sunday, he didn't go either. Monday, he gets a call from the doctor's office saying, did you fill your prescription? And he said, no. And he says, well, don't, because they pulled the drug off the market because it's killing people.
Oh, gosh.
Good to know.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the things, if you start to look at a lot of the drugs, for MS, start to ask questions about the drugs and what's the effectiveness and what is this going to do and how is this going to help my life, And I think that's the thing is we didn't want to live with MS.
No.
We wanted to heal his body. And we have. So.
So how was it for him? Did you both make the switch at the same time? Like who found this way of eating and inflicted it on the other person?
Let's put it this way.
Was he happy to go along? Or was he like, I love all of the delicious meats, cheeses, eggs, things that I don't want to miss?
He's the kind of person that if you put food in front of him, he'll eat it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he'll still say to me to this day, I don't like soup, right? I said, yep, I know you don't like soup. And I'll put a bowl of soup in front of him and he'll scarf it right down and go, yeah, that was pretty good, but I don't like soup, right? Right, got it. Because I think he grew up, we have a company here called Campbell's Soup, and
we have
that instant soup, and out of the can and, and it's like my soups are like not even close to that, He's like, this is really good. And I'm like, I know.
It's not a can of Campbell's tomato soup.
Right, exactly. So his mom wasn't a big cook. She was very much into the 1950s, convenience. Let's have the TV dinners and, cans of soup and, kind of thing.
Okay. So how is it for him? Because I know like my dad, he has prostate cancer currently. And he, it's all well and good when he's at home and I've emptied his house of processed junk food and everything, and he's okay. But if, a friend comes over or if he goes out and they make non-whole food, plant-based food, he just eats it. Was your husband, did either of you have any socializing, interacting's very tricky, I'm just going to eat?
It is hard especially because both sides of our family have not embraced this in any way, shape, or form. I'm one of four, or one of five siblings, and the other four all have major health issues. Huge. I mean, obese, wow. And I'm the only one who's changed my health destiny. And so it's tough going over because my family likes to eat. That's food is the center part of any family get together. And the more calorically rich it is,
the better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you could, we'd win the Olympic sport of high caloric density foods. We'd win, hands down. We got it covered. So, I mean, and it's still really tough when we go to family events. A couple of my strategies is literally, I'm not kidding you, as we're pulling into the driveway, I'm shoving food in my face. Carrots and celery and potatoes and, rice and, until I can't, it's called, did you ever see a movie called Gone with the Wind?
Yes.
Okay. Mammy wouldn't let Scarlett go to the party unless she had a tray. Okay. That's my strategy.
Yeah. I'm very similar. I have a whole bag of food and I eat in the car. On the way. I just don't want to be at all hungry.
Exactly. So if I'm not hungry, I can resist it more. So because there will be, my downfall is Cape Cod potato chips or Frito-Lay corn chips. And if they're on the table, I can't stop. It's the food addict. I call it my inner raccoon. It comes out, okay, and it's going. There's no stopping it. It's gonna get it. So, and I will eat some potato chips, but I cannot. I can only eat like one or two because I can't. Literally, the food is like right up to here. I mean, I can't eat another bite. Seriously.
Yeah.
So that's one strategy. But the other strategy is I will make sure that I have some food. Like, for example, like a cheese. Like we've got like Kite Hill cheeses. These are like, they taste exactly like a cream cheese. Exactly. But it's all plant-based. So there's a Kite Hill is another one. Kite Hill or Tree Line cheese is another one. They're amazing. So I will break down and buy a container of that just so that I can have some crackers, and I'll bring like some rice crackers and I'll have some of those. Those are like my new potato chips. So I'll bring something that I can eat that's a treat for me. Yeah. That I don't eat this because I'm eat low caloric density because I'm still on a weight loss. So I'm on a journey. And so those are, a couple of strategies. Then I'll bring a big salad for everybody because everybody eats salad. Okay, fine. So I'll bring a dressing, and then I'll bring a dessert that everybody, chocolate peanut butter pie. How can you not go wrong,
Yeah.
So I'll bring that, and everybody loves that. They see that and their eyes light up. Okay, fine. Because it's banging the pleasure center. Fine. I get it. But I can have some of that, and I'll have a little bit, and not a lot, but I'll have a little bit of it because I know I can have it and it's not going to make me sick.
Yeah.
So I'll have some of that. And then we have, it's called Plant Pure Nation. I don't know if you've heard of that. From the movie. Well, there's the movie Plant Pure Nation. And because of that, they started this movement across the United States. And they've gotten pods around the world too, where they've created groups of people that get together. And they're doing it at the grassroots level because it's not going to come from the top down in any way, shape, or form. We've got to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So anyway, they've created a food line called Plant Pure Nation, Plant Pure Food. And they've actually got it in the southern part of the United States. There's a grocery store chain called Publix. And so they're frozen, and you can buy them at the Publix grocery store. But we can also order them online here. And when you order them online, they come to your doorstep frozen with dry ice. So, and I bought an extra little freezer just for these foods, and we'll keep them in there. So like if we go to an event like this, we'll take some, and they're called mini hot logics. They're these little warming ovens. And this is what I use in my classroom to heat my food up every day. So I make my own food, but I use this to heat it up because I don't use a microwave. So we'll bring these little warming ovens, we'll plug them in someplace off to the side. So while everybody's having their dinner, we've got our entree and salad, and we've had some hors d'oeuvres, and then I have some dessert. So I'm good. I can, and I can handle it. So, I won't eat much, but I will have, like some potato chips, but I'll make darn sure that when I walk in the door, the food is like right up to here so that I can't put in another bite. So Mammy would have been proud.
Very good.
That's my strategy.
No, that's good. And I think we were speaking about Andrew Spudfit Taylor, and I'm just going to speak about him again. That what you're saying really resonates with me because I too am a food addict, and I think a lot of people are. And so I'm still on a weight loss journey, and even though I've lost, we're measuring kilos here, but so for me, I've lost about 35 kilos. He says, make your food boring, make your life interesting. And when you're talking about your family and my family, like most of my friends, everyone, it's all about the food. It's always about the food, but if it's about the connection, if it's about, there's so many other things, like you're talking about kayaking or, walking, hiking. Yesterday was Valentine's Day here. And even though I'm not really big into the consumerist side of Valentine's Day, my husband and I've got two small kids, and we thought, I'm just going to get my mother-in-law, see she'll come and just mind them for 2 hours and we'll go. But it was very windy. We're going to go for a hike. It was very dangerously windy up here in the hills to walk out in the trees. Like our limbs of our trees just fall off, and it wasn't safe to go hiking. And then it was rainy, and we thought, it's not really we're going to have a picnic. And we ended up going and getting like pizza, whole food, no cheese pizza.
Right.
That was all that there really was. I was thinking that's the best option, and it wasn't great, and we both felt gross today. But yeah, because we're just trying to find something to do together, and it's about finding those things you can do together that aren't around food. You know, not everything has to be around food. And we went for a walk because the sun came out as soon as we stopped eating, of course, and the wind stopped. And we went for a little walk, but like it was a fairly decent, not low salt, low oil pizza, but it still doesn't feel great. But yeah, so it's just trying to rethink like that. Yeah. Make your food more, make your life interesting. Like what else can you do in those situations? How else can you find joy and happiness rather than finding it on your plate and in your mouth? Right. I'm still learning that, everyone. I'm just pointing it out as it's a really great way of trying to change your thinking. Yeah.
That's true. It's true. But also changing the food too. I mean, the food's amazing. I did a great video because I work with Kim Campbell. We have a show called Plant-Based Living with Kim and Jeanne. Yeah. And we talk about plant-based living, and we do a lot of different things throughout the show. And I forget where I was going with this, but
I don't know.
Why was I telling you this?
Because we're talking about changing your thinking around food.
Oh, so, the food is amazing. So, that was it. So I got tired of people thinking that we eat grass, and leaves and
a
dirt.
bowl of air.
And salads. Yeah, that's all you eat is salads. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. No.
So I made, Kim Campbell is an amazing photographer. She's got written 2 amazing cookbooks. Really, really good ones. The Plant Pure Nation cookbook and Plant Pure Kitchen. I highly recommend these cookbooks. Amazing.
I've got a cookbook obsession, and I just bought 3. I will have to buy this one, but don't tell my husband.
Your secret save. No, seriously, and because I share the same obsession. Spices also is an obsession with me. Spices are huge.
Spices, definitely.
Yeah. So she takes a lot of the pictures herself, and she's an amazing photographer. So she gave me a bunch of her pictures. So I put together like about a 2-minute video that, you think I'm plant-based and I eat salads. No. And I made a montage. Each picture was 1 second. Again. And the pictures are amazing. Yeah. They're amazing. Wow. So I took her pictures and my pictures and put them together into this great video. So.
I'm excited to find the recipe for your peanut butter and chocolate pie.
Oh my God. It's on the website, starchqueens.net. It's there.
Is it .net or .com?
.net. Starchqueens.net. Yeah, it's there. And it's, I'm not going to lie, it's high caloric density. Woo, doggies. We only make this special occasions.
So it's okay. Because I've made one before, like when I'm just for my husband, but mine was with tofu, but it was peanut butter and chocolate with tofu in a pie. Yeah. But I'd like to hear yours without tofu.
Yeah. Nope. It's with tofu.
Yours is with tofu? Oh, so it might be. I want to see what the difference is then, because I love peanut butter chocolate, so I'd love to see what the difference is and see if we're both magically made the same pie. Through our love for peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh my God. Yep, absolutely. No, for sure.
It's so good. I don't really have many more questions, but if you wanted to talk more about your work and the things that you're doing, that would be awesome.
Well, one of the things we started to do, I started a pod group for Plant Pure Nation. So I have Plant-Based Westchester. And I started, I was on the phone talking with a girlfriend, and we were both whining that we, needed to lose weight. She's like, yeah, I can't lose weight. Yeah. Okay, fine. So I said, let's challenge each other. Now, I'm a consultant for Pure Haven Essentials, and these are products that are this company line was started by a girl who was 15 years old. Wow. She read the environmental working group and saw the reports, all the toxins that were in the personal care products. Anyway, so I said to her, okay, here's a bet. Loser has to buy the winner anything they want from the line. She's like, you're on. I love that stuff. Okay. And I posted it in my Facebook group. And within 5 minutes, I had 3 other women who were like, I'm in. And we did 10-day challenge. And we all lost weight. We all lost weight. So it was great. It was awesome. And then we did it another round. And then we had, I don't know, maybe about 15, 18 people in the challenge. And then a friend of mine who's got a group over in California, she says, I'm challenging my group to your group. Let's see who can win, percent. We went by percent weight loss because obviously, if you lose, if you're 150 pounds and you lose 10 pounds, that's the same as somebody who's 300 pounds and loses, 5 pounds. Or no, wait a minute, backwards. 150 pounds, you lose 5 pounds. That's 300 pounds. Somebody loses 10. So we went by the percent weight loss of the body weight.
Okay.
So anyway, so we started doing this and we divided the country up. East of the Mississippi went to my group. West of the Mississippi went to her group. And then we started, and it got up to be over 100 people each for 10 days doing these challenges.
That's so good.
And then we said, we need to spread this out. And then we started doing these plant-based towns. So we have plant-based your town. So we have 2 groups in Canada. We have a couple of groups. I think we got one coming up in England. We've got a couple all over the United States. And there's no geography police. If you want to join this group and this group, go ahead.
Yeah.
But we've got one, for example, the woman who does Plant-Based Chicago, she is completely bilingual in English and Spanish. So she's got one group in English and one group in Spanish, and she does it both. So, and I've done educational lectures on the Starch Queens website under videos. Under the educational part, the first 3 are lectures that I've done on what is a whole food plant-based, then how do you begin, and then tips and tricks. So there's 3 educational videos, and I also have a YouTube channel. So she and I are working. What's your YouTube
channel called? Starch Queen.
Nope. Jeanne Schumacher, because this was before I started the Starch Queens. So it's Jeanne Schumacher, Plant Powered.
Wow.
So she and I are taking my first lecture that I did on what is whole food plant-based living, and we're in the process of translating it into Spanish. Now I'm pretty fluent in Spanish, but she has no accent in either language. And so it's phenomenal. It's rare that you find someone that bilingual. So she can read, write, and speak both languages perfectly. So, and it was interesting for us to find a translation for whole food plant-based because it doesn't translate directly into Spanish.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it didn't. So we kept going back and forth a lot till we finally came up with comida a base de plantas. So food that is the base of plants. But it works in Spanish.
Okay, great. That's good.
So we're going to come out with a lecture for people who only speak Spanish because there's a definite need. Yeah. Because one of the things I've seen, I spent a lot of time in Central and South America. I spent about 13 years traveling and working abroad. And I have seen, especially around my area where I live, there's pockets, like up in Ossining, New York, there's Ecuador. Ecuador has left the country, Ecuador, and has moved up to Peekskill. And it's crazy. I mean, another part of this area, you'll find people from Peru. Another part, you'll see them from Colombia. And it's interesting, and I lived all over Central and South America. And as soon as they leave South America and come here and start eating the standard American diet, they all get sick. They get sick. Fat and sick. So welcome to the United States. Bienvenido. So yeah. So when I see it, so I know
there's a huge need for that.
There's a huge need. Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. So definitely. So we're working on that. But we've got about 27 towns, plant-based your towns. So if anybody's listening out there and wants to start a group in your area, because we connect once a month. We do it. We connect using Zoom. And we meet and talk and, how's it going? How's your group going? Some of them are actually still doing 10-day challenges for free. Now, Nancy and I have partnered together and we started this plant-based lifestyle teaching and weight loss program, because weight loss is a side effect of this.
Yeah.
So we started doing a lot of this and helping people to change their health destiny.
Yes.
So we've got an amazing group of people. The January, our numbers in 30 days, we had a range of 3 pounds to 20 pounds. Average was about 7.5 pounds that they lost in 30 days. The group weight total was, we lost together as a group 111 pounds. So
great.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, it works. And the food is great. And so, yeah, so that's what I'm real busy with that. We do Tuesday nights, we do Talking Tuesdays. We do Q&As here. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. We do Q&As with the Starch Queens. We call it Talking Tuesdays. So anybody can join that. That's on our Starch Queens page. But we take the questions from our group first, so and answer those questions. And then I do a weekly webinar on something. Like the topic coming up this week is on essential oils and weight loss. But topics that I've covered have been toxins. As you start to lose weight, you're going to start to release toxins. And to recognize that, to recognize the symptoms, understand what impact that's going to have on your life, because it is totally. So yeah, it's amazing. So we do a lot of things that are not just about the food, although we do teach, I did a webinar on tips and tricks, and things that somebody might not know about, that we've taken for granted now, in cooking this way.
It's actually difficult because you do take so many things for granted. Yeah. After a while. But I was on that topic. I was going to ask you your three biggest tips, your three best tips that if you're willing to, for adopting this whole, for people who are like considering it, but like, right. Oh, sounds really hard. What would be your like gateway?
Well,
entry?
First thing I would say, first of all, you have to know your why.
Yes.
You have to understand why you're doing this, because this is not just, I'm going to go on a diet.
No.
This is not a diet. This is a lifestyle.
It is.
Okay? So you have to know your why. You have to understand why you're doing this. It's not to say that you're going to make mistakes, but you have to understand why you're doing this. I mean, you had a motivation clearly for your health. I had a motivation for my health, no question about it. So somebody, if they're dealing with health issues, yeah, there's definitely, you have to know why. That's the first part. Number two, I would say check with your doctor. Most likely he or she is not going to have a clue what you're talking about. Okay? They don't understand about plant-based living. They don't know. They've not read the research. They're not up on it. Here's another pill. Have another drug. Let's write another prescription. So, but if you are changing this and you are diabetic, or if you have high blood pressure, you can come off like in 10 days. Your blood pressure can drop so much that if you continue to take the medication, it'll drop your blood pressure too low and you could pass out.
Yes.
Or if you're diabetic and you're taking so much medication that your blood sugars are going to change very quickly, very quickly. So you have to understand a little bit about this. You have to educate yourself a little bit. But here's my thought is, what have you got to lose? I mean, personally myself, I don't want to be on the medical treadmill. We just, my mother-in-law just passed away from, she had Alzheimer's. Now she is 19 years older than my husband. My husband's 60.
Yeah.
79. She just died. She went into the nursing home with Alzheimer's at 72. Okay? Yeah. So I need you to understand this. She should not have been sick. She should not have had Alzheimer's. And I'm just getting ready to start. I just finished a series with Dr. Neil Barnard. He wrote a book called, fabulous book. If you have not read it, anybody out there, please listen. The Cheese Trap. You need to read this book and understand it. So I did a 5-part series with Dr. Barnard on this book because it was so powerful to me. Because it talks about the cheese, how addicting cheese is. So the next series I'm doing with him is called and if you have not read this one, this is a fantastic book called Power Foods for the Brain.
I've never even heard of it. I've heard of the cheese trap, but so he wrote a book called Power Foods for the Brain.
Power Foods for the Brain, and I'm doing a new series with him starting. We're starting next week, and it usually takes me about a week to edit because I put a lot of information back into the videos to add it on. But it's going to be powerful, and it's all about the metals. It's all about the toxins that are in your body and how you can change it. So it's going to be powerful. But my mother-in-law shouldn't have died. And she's only 19 years older. So my husband's 60. So in 12 years, from him, he's going to be 72. He's not going to be going into a nursing home. Both of us do not want to be this way. We do not want to be in a nursing home, waiting to die.
Exactly.
So we've changed our health destiny.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Absolutely.
I've really enjoyed speaking with you and meeting with
you. I have too.
Hearing your story. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It was great. And I totally enjoyed it. And love to connect again at some point.
Yes, please. I'd love to.
Because we're kind of doing the same thing.
Usually
I'm the interviewing with the other people. So.
Yeah. So and it was nice to share my story for you. So if you need to interview, if you anything you need, let me know. I'm here to help. I'd be happy to help.
All right.
Thank you so much. I better get off and go do my kids' stuff and everything today. But thank you very much. It was so wonderful.